Take off! It's time for Doug and Ben's great NASCAR adventure!
Thanks as always for the intro, Marshall. We appreciate it. Doug's been hanging out in the green room, clearly. Or is it the green trailer? I don't know.
The Midnight Moon Room. Watermelon.
Easy for you to say.
Watermelon. Because you know why? Because we're going to be talking about Mr. Watermelon this week.
Oh, we are. Ho. You know, I'll just say it right now. I don't know who the title sponsor was, but I think we can just call it the Karma 300. That's what we've been talking about for about 2 months has come around.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes. So Cup Series invading WWT. I noticed a bunch of people are taking the easy way, just referring to it WWT,
Gateway.
which doesn't make sense because it should be WWT RWP, Raceway Park or something. Because it's Worldwide Technologies Raceway Park.
At Gateway. Gateway's still in there.
At Gateway, yes. So returning to Gateway, because that's what I put in the title, because I'm not writing out.
And also returning
you wouldn't
to...
be able to read it. The font would be so small on the thumbnail to write out that title.
Also returning to Portland?
Not returning to Portland.
Well, they haven't been to Portland before? I thought Truck Series had.
Nope. Maybe.
Do I know something more than you do?
Well, that's a first.
Yeah.
Maybe in the 90s, because IndyCar hasn't been to Portland in the better part of 20 years. Maybe the trucks. Maybe. Because, they used to run, like, they would run to Kansas.
Yeah, I think they did.
Which I always thought was a cool race. What do we have? All three of the National Series running, but not all in the same place.
No.
We had Gateway, Portland, Gateway, and a throwback. Dinger says, I'll run both. What, Trucks and Cup? Because that would be easy. No.
Well, I think he had, oh man, that watermelon. I'm getting a Denny Hamlin. Watermelon's even a bad taste in my mouth. I think he was.
Hey, sis.
I think he was down to. They had that Cup race on the schedule for him for Colic.
Yeah,
then
because you got to use a lot of brakes
because that schedule come out first, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to run that race." And then the Xfinity Series come out and said, "Hey, we're going to Portland that weekend," and he went, "Okay, I'm doing both."
Yeah, dang. Yeah. Yeah.
I got a little bit left.
Kicking off with the trucks first, we had Zane Smith, who was doing double duty trucks and Cup this weekend.
Yeah, because
but actually, before that, there was news going into the weekend. Well, there was an announcement about an announcement.
Yeah.
Your boy, Truex, said,
yes,
I'm doing an announcement in 2 weeks. I might retire at the end of the year.
Well, you know what? And did we not say that earlier?
Yep. He's 41.
Oh, and he's got like he said.
Yeah. So quickly, does that mean you would bring up Brandon Jones as a placeholder till Ty Gibbs is ready, or does Grandpa just say screw it and throw Gibbs in the 19?
No, well, I said it the other week.
I know, but plans change, Doug.
Coaches always said 2 years.
Well, we'll see. We shall see.
2 years in Xfinity.
We'll see.
But
that's what you're saying. We'll see. Anyway.
Just to go back on that there.
Yeah, which threw the garage for a loop. Like the media and everybody caught that. They're like, really? Oh. Because usually, you got to not win for a year or two. And then you start talking about it. But then again, you do get those Carl Edwards types that all of a sudden are like, you know what? Not really having fun. It could be the new car. Who knows?
Maybe it's the number.
Maybe it's the number.
But no. Anyway, we talked about that before because he's got, he's been around a long time.
Yep.
Right?
He's got to be what? He's the third most senior driver probably in the series now?
Could be, yeah.
Because I think he's still more senior than Keselowski. Yeah.
Yeah.
But only Kurt Busch and Harvick would be ahead of him, I think.
You've got, we've been talking about it forever, not really forever, and it's not a good thing to talk about, but Sherry's got her health issues, right?
Yep.
They've got all the other stuff going on. You know what? He's kind of always said that he could, you know, he's got his 2 Xfinity series.
Yep.
He's got he's got a Cup series.
Yep. Yeah, he's got the Hall of Fame credential type thing.
Yeah, he's Hall of Fame right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Which in Hall of Fame doesn't really say a whole lot, but still, I think he would be a Hall of Famer even if we raise the bar. Because like say 3 championships across 2 series.
And you know what? He's not an unliked guy in the garage.
No, he's always just kind of been steady Eddie. Like him. Because he doesn't make waves.
I've never said that.
You haven't, but I've noticed it. He's never really been a shit disturber, out there. And he's just been, he just goes about it like a Mark Martin type.
Yep. So you know what? What's
up, Charles?
It's not something that I haven't thought wasn't coming, or I thought it was, because the contract is up at the end of next year.
Well, see, I was thinking maybe we would hear this a year from now. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Especially if he happened to go winless this year. Especially if that happened.
Well, you know what? And maybe things aren't as good this year with James Small.
Right. Well, and a new car. Right? Like, it's like teaching old dog new tricks. Like, do you really want to learn a whole new car?
Yeah.
Like, how many crew chiefs, were thinking that in the offseason, getting into a new car, just, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go work on a truck that has the same chassis, whatever, less schedule. Yeah. So, yeah, there was that. And we'll see in a couple of weeks. He'll give us, let us know in a couple of weeks how he's feeling one way or the other. And we say, he's done everything he needs to do. So,
and he had, he ended up having another great weekend this weekend, right?
Yep.
So,
and I was thinking it was funny because I was thinking during the Cup race, just a random thought, the way Kurt Busch, is the senior most driver out there, and the situation he's in with Trackhouse and this being a new kind of competitive car, can we see the guy who does kind of push 50 in age?
No, he's not Trackhouse.
Not Trackhouse? No, he was at Trackhouse. No, well, kind of. Yeah. Whatever. Okay, he's at 2311. But in that situation, I could see Kurt running into his late 40s, even into his 50-ish, if you want, because he's still competitive, obviously.
Well, because you look at Kurt, then he's no family. It's just him.
Exactly. Like, I think because he will be the last one, chances, more likely, because I didn't think we would ever see another driver, say, win a race over the age of 45 again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see, because Kurt Busch is still Kurt Busch. So that brings us into the trucks, which...
Oh, were we going to talk about race? Okay.
Wasn't a whole lot of drama or anything. So, I don't know. It's a good race.
A lot of it. It seemed like the corners there really wide.
Yep.
Really people getting loose going in.
Yep.
And then you go into a tight straightaway.
Yep.
You got
I noticed safer barriers not all the way around the track there.
Yeah.
Which you don't see anymore. Like, I was kind of surprised about that. Like, you would think that was the reason why they weren't getting on the schedule in years past.
And the other thing going into the weekend, and they talked about it a lot on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was heading to camping on Friday. Claire B had on Eddie DeHaan, and he was complaining that the spotters were not happy.
Oh, well, they had them like basically in turn 1.
Yes, and they had a big. They didn't show it on TV, but there was a big tent that was blocking their view of turn 1 and 2 that they couldn't see. So the drivers, if there was anything happening in 1 and 2, drivers were on their own.
Yeah, and coming down the front stretch, they had to look at them straight on. So they're like, I don't know. Guys looking. That was about it.
And it was a sellout, so they couldn't put them in the stands. And it was a sellout. It wasn't like any other race would say, hey, it's a sellout, but we got sporadic seats that are empty. because scalpers, every freaking seat was full.
Although it was weird, I saw by the end of the Cup race, there's already some empty seats. Not a lot. It was still like 80% capacity, which was like more than you see at lots of tracks. Like, not like, oh, I don't know, last week, they're like, we sold out the Coke 600. I'm like, you tore down half the stands. I hope you did.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, like, you know, I hate that. So, just marketing though. But anyway, yeah, good, you know, good competitive racing, which we've always seen with the trucks running there over the years.
Stewart running up front.
Stuart Friesen running up front, led some lap, just didn't quite have enough to get right back up there at the end. He made it back up to fourth.
Yep.
You know,
how about that? You know, I'm thinking because I did listen to it on the radio, right? I got that call on the radio. Then, like I said, I watched it later on. You got to feel for Derek Krause going for that first win.
Yeah.
And then that caution come out. Then was it Chandler Smith? Did he start behind Chandler Smith, or did Friesen? No, sorry, Friesen did. Krause got knocked back a bit on the. I'm not sure how, but and then you got
Chandler Smith and Corey Heim in the 51. They were lined up.
Okay, sorry, was it Eckes? Eckes one was on took the outside with Friesen behind him, and then it was Heim and Smith on the inside, and. Right. Man, those KBM trucks, they timed that perfect because, you know, NASCAR was looking at that restart.
They were.
Eckes kind of went and then.
Oh, no, it was done perfectly.
They were just had that. You know, I thought they were going the inside wall though for a second.
Yeah,
they went low.
That they did. Yeah, it was interesting. You know, with the track, you know, it had tendency where if you would dive bomb in, sometimes you would get loose under people, and so that was taking people out, which you know causes arguments and such, and that was a theme. But yeah, and I was thinking to myself, you know, because you know you kind of go off watching these, right? Like Bill McNally that owns the 19 truck there.
Yep.
When are we going to start talking about him getting into the Hall of Fame?
No.
You know, like sure he's known now, you know, to most newer fans as a Truck Series owner. But Jesus, you know, he's owned the Winston West series and NASCAR West, or what's probably now ARCA West or whatever, you know, the K&N West and all that. He was a stalwart for decades out there as an owner with the Napa sponsorship.
Yeah.
You know, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, maybe.
You know, I think so. But, yeah. And what was it? The 51 truck won, didn't it?
Corey Heim.
Heim.
Not Haim. Heim.
Right.
Heim. He's not an 80s TV guy.
No. He's not hanging out with the other Corys.
No.
Although they all look like a bunch of Corys with their short and the blonde hair. And
yeah.
They're all a bunch of Corys.
Yes.
So, yeah. You know, sure. You know, won the race. KBM Motorsports, they got great trucks.
Yep.
So. I like what was it? Was it Eckes though that did all the sims they were saying for all the Thor Sports trucks because he's the only guy that lives in the Charlotte area, and he's like, all my teammates really love me or hate me, and I'm thinking, how do you shake down? Like, what do you think? Well, I know like Matt Crafton likes it looser than me. And you're like, holy crap, this is loose. He's gonna love it. I don't know, you know, like how does that work?
Exactly, yeah, but it worked for him.
Yeah.
Second place.
Exactly. Maybe if you want to run a NASCAR, you might want to live in the greater Charlotte area with the advent of all these simulators and stuff. You know, maybe show up the shop once or twice a week.
Or you become, and we'll talk about later on, you become like Kyle Larson and say, oh, I got a busy schedule. I forgot to go to the simulator. I've never been at this track, and I don't know what to expect. We watch some video.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, well, you know. Whatever works.
Yep.
I think he should just keep doing it. Forget about the Sims. Just do what you're doing, buddy. It seems to be working.
Yep.
So, which takes us into the Xfinity race at Portland, which I had dubbed last week is going to probably be the shit show 300 because
it kind of was
a very narrow track. I wasn't counting. I totally forgot. Portland. Rain. Forgot about the rain.
A lot of rain.
Which...
My
Connor
own-
Gregson during
My
practice.
my one complaint watching the highlights of that there is,
Yeah.
why cut to a damn camera that's got all bunch of raindrops on it that you can't see
Well,
crap?
they had no tear-offs on any of the cameras during the race. Like, I think the rain must be coming in sideways or something.
Oh yeah,
I don't
like,
know.
here, let's show the camera from the start finish line. Oh yeah, look at this guy coming to spin out. No, I only see raindrops. I don't see a
Yeah,
thing.
because the camera's down in turn 4 and it's zoomed all the way down the straightaway.
Yeah.
Oh,
I see.
yeah.
I see a
I thought it was a lot of
shadow.
mist and fog, but it was just raindrops on the legs.
I see a shadow that's kind of going onto the grass and spinning.
Yeah.
You just tell me who that is. That's fine.
So as I was saying, started with practice in the rain. Gregson,
Yeah, like I was
just kept the nose right in the ground.
When did they have practice?
He went in, took off the fire suit, and then he got in there with the guys, and he was helping turn wrenches and tie zip ties, or I don't know what he was doing. He was helping. I like that.
He wasn't looking where he was helping, but he was helping.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he should be turning all the bottom bolts that you got to reach down. You can't look at anyways, because then he gets to, oh, look, a bird, and he's still changing the bottom bolts. That's fine. They got the car repaired, replaced. I don't know, but he was back in the race.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Because I think didn't all 4 junior motorsports cars like bite it in practice?
I didn't get to see practice, but that's what I heard.
That's what I heard as well too, because they were talking about it. Like as I was like, so I listened to the Xfinity and the truck race as we were going back and forth to the beach in like 16-degree weather. How stupid were we? But I listened to practice on the way to camping.
So so they dropped the green flag in the race, and
you know what? I think
that Gibbs kid is turning like laps 3 to 5 seconds faster a lap than the field. And I'm watching it.
For me, I think they should have changed the start-finish line during the race because it seemed like every green flag, half the field wadded up in turn 1.
Well, that's because the brilliant track designers. Let me finish. That's because the brilliant track designers added that stupid chicane in 1998 to slow the Indy cars down, because prior to that, they would just bomb it all into turn 1 and wad them all up, sort of like Watkins Glen used to do. They just changed where they get wadded up. And they put that, it used to be after you hit what used to be turn 1, it was a long sweeper around to that backstretch, but they've kind of put an S curve in there, whatever. And
then also make an actual spot there for the stop and go, because with guys just stopping and going whenever they want in that little area, Sheldon Creed, he does his stop and go, he gives her, and then the guy in front of him decides to do his stop.
That would be Canadian Alex LeBay.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway,
because he hadn't actually stopped. He was rolling through the wreck and he still hadn't stopped yet.
Yeah.
He was well within the spot. I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, yeah, no. And then he makes his stop and Creed just plows into the back of him.
But Creed even knew it wasn't his fault, because apparently, according to Bob Poggrass, checked as of an hour ago, Creed got no penalty for giving the double bird salute on the backstretch. Which was hilarious, because the AMR person's like, come on with us. He goes, hang on. Give me a second. And it just happened, the whole field's going, and he's like, whoop, whoop. And I'm like, yes, we haven't seen that in a while. So
I remember I did that once.
Yeah. One of the interviews of the weekend had to be Sam Mayer, who crashed out earlier, and he just kept saying, I want to go home. I just want to go home. He's like, so you're going to try to get me? I want to go home. That's all he was. And he sounded like a dejected child, which, he's only like 18, 19.
Yeah, he is.
He's just like, he's like, I'm not having fun. I'm cold and I'm wet. I want to go home. Okay, I get it. So, and we should mention, prior to even dropping the green for the first time in his wily veteran career, A.G. Allmendinger managed to wreck his car before the green flag dropped.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I see
that happened. And then he managed to wreck it on lap 3 and went off again on lap 6, I think it was. Like, he could not keep it on the track. And I noticed, watching everyone's running the rain line, which is the non-racing line, except for Gibbs, who was running the regular line and making time. I'm like, is there not a spotter noticing this and saying to their driver, hey, you might want to try because it seems to be working? The worst part was just touching a curb. If you touched a curb,
oh, you're done. You're
off
gone.
the track.
Gone.
Forget it. Forget about it. Yeah.
I took a snapshot.
Gibbs basically led the first half of the race until under caution. Some bonehead. I don't know if he was texting and driving or
Jesse Wuji.
Yeah.
Former fighter pilot.
Just ran him over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was surprised the car wasn't more damaged. Like, I thought both cars should have been just done.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, they're showing it. Okay, we're going back to green, except for you, Bubbaloo. You're sitting here for 2 laps. And I went, I'm surprised that car's still drivable.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Okay.
I took a snapshot of the finish of stage 2. And I was like, when are we ever going to see this?
What's up, Mark?
With this, when are we ever going to see these guys in this order finish like this again? And that was Myatt Snyder, friend of yours, Alex Lawley, Austin Hill, Landon Castle, Barry, Anthony Alfredo, Justin Allgaier, AJ Allmendinger, Sheldon Creed, and Jay Buford in the top 10.
Yes. And that would be Andy Lally.
What did I say?
Alex.
Start with an A. Who cares? But anyway.
Letter. Close enough.
Yeah. But yeah, it's, when are we ever going to see Andy Lally in the top 10 of anything?
Because he'll get up there and then get punted at the end of the race.
Well, yeah.
And they were saying that the whole race. Oh, these ringers, they get no respect. Well, sometimes they don't deserve the respect because they're out there banging fenders as much as anyone else. But then the rain had stopped, and then it kind of cleared up. And let's try slicks for a few minutes. What's up, Guitar Man 45? IndyCar's running in his neck of the woods on the weekend. And so they tried the slicks, and then they're like, well, it's kind of raining over here. I wouldn't mind some wets again, if you don't mind. So throw the wets back on. And somehow, after going off the track 4 times, AJ Allmendinger wins the race at the same track at damn near the same date that he won his first major race in kart. He won his first kart race there on Father's Day weekend. 2003, 2006? Something like that. So, yeah, which was cool. And then after his victory, he runs across the paddock. There's his dad, security winless dad. And I'm like, he's got a damn pass that says VIP. What part of VIP? Like, it doesn't matter what the rest says.
Maybe they thought he was Tom Logano.
No, he was too big. Way too much AJ stuff on. He had all the AJ gear on. And AJ was like, that's my dad. Let me in. All right. And then he did a quick speech. He's like, I got a plane to catch. I got to go. I got to go.
Yeah.
Which
then, and I talked about the finish of stage 2.
Yes.
Right? Let's go to the finish of the race, being Allmendinger, Myatt Snyder, Austin Hill, Barry Allgaier, Hemrick, Ty Gibbs, JJ Yaley getting a top 10.
Who thought he broke his thumb.
And then Noah Gragson. And then 10th place, Canadian Alex LeVay.
Yep. Yeah. Hill was competitive the whole race. He was Josh Berry. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. He just stayed out of everybody's way and it worked. A lot of those guys, they were off and on and off and on. So it was it was a real battle of attrition, that race. Yeah. I enjoyed it because I like road course racing and I like rain racing, and so that was cool. But so that was set a record that the previous top 3 for road course wins in NASCAR competition. So that counts top 3 series. 3rd place was Chase Elliott with 7. Then you had, who was next? Jeff Gordon? Nope. Tony Stewart with 8. Jeff Gordon with 9. And now AJ Allmendinger with 10 road course wins.
Not bad.
So, yeah. So 10 road course wins across the NASCAR divisions. And congrats to AJ on that one. I like AJ. It's always great for an interview, and then he makes it entertaining too. He's like,
Oh, and you know what? And it's always even better when he gets on with Moody because they just cut each other up for 15 minutes and then it's done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. So that brings us into the Cup race, which again should be renamed the Karma 300. As we got into it, they were saying,
Denny.
All right, yeah, for Denny. They're saying, Doug, they use more brakes at Gateway than any other track on the circuit, including Martinsville. So, in that, yeah, that was the thing. And so early in the race, one of the fun things that Clint Boyer likes to keep it, because he'll watch a little race going on, race within a race, right?
Yeah.
And he's just giggling away. And Mike Joy's like, what? And he's like, Chastain's been dive bombing Hamlin every corner of every lap, but he just couldn't get enough to clear every time. He's like, but he's trying. He's trying. It's like that little dog just biting those ankles. Like, I'm going to try and I'm not giving up. And so finally he got frustrated and he bumped into Denny. He bumped Denny.
Just a touch. And then like me, bad taste of watermelon in your mouth.
Yeah. And Denny got up into the wall, and as a result, kind of messed up his car. So it was competitive enough to do minimum speed, but he was about 2 seconds off the lap.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when we started seeing some shenanigans.
Just a little bit.
Which was Chastain came around to lap Denny Hamlin, and then Denny did his best Ryan Newman impersonation. And just moving around. No, you're not getting around me, Bubbaloo. And then finally Chastain would get around him and drop, 2 or 3 spots on the crosses. Because someone like Suarez just comes up, what's going on there? He goes, zing! And he'd whip by. And Hamlin's like, oh, that was a little dangerous. Let him go.
Yep.
And about 8 minutes later, Chastain would come around to try to lap Hamlin. And Hamlin would start doing the same thing. And then there was a caution. And on a restart, and Chastain, who I will say his post-race interview, kudos on that. That was a beautiful interview.
That had mixed reviews. Listen to the callers on the radio.
There we go. I tended to believe him. I took it as sincere to a point.
Well, yeah, no, it wasn't that it wasn't sincere. It was just that, it was good you did it, but now
he's still gonna get taken out everywhere. Like that, it doesn't change anything. It just means he's aware of it. Unlike Ragson, who's still looking around at the birds.
So he had his fun with Denny, and then he's like, you know what? I'm done with you. Hey, look, I'm gonna take out some Hooters.
Well, and that was the thing. He had said was, I gotta stop doing this. He said he was beating himself up in the car under car. I gotta stop doing this. I gotta stop running into people.
I also like how the 11 team tried to say, hey, you know what, Denny, NASCAR has said, you've proved your point enough. And he's like, haha, yeah, right.
Yeah, it was funny. Just that barrel laughter. Like, it was so genuine. He's like, oh, I'm not even close. Yeah. Which Clint in the booth is just like, all right, And let's be honest, at that point, we had guest commentator Kenny Wallace coming in. So you got Kenny Wallace, Michael Waltrip, and Clint Boyer watching all this going on. And between the three of them have probably 100 years of racing under their belts.
Yep.
And they're like, y'all ever seen this happen before? Can't say that I have. Nope. Can't say I've ever seen anything. And for those of you that thought it was unprofessional and this and that and the other, NASCAR could have black flagged either one of those drivers at any time. You know why they didn't black flag him, Doug? Because guys like John Darby were laughing their ass off so hard they couldn't reach for the CB down to the flag stand.
We had 77,000 people in the crowd going nuts, and we'll talk about that a little later on because, hey, if Chastain didn't do anything, he brought 2 factions together. Should send him over to Europe. He will bring everyone together, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here. But so he went and said, "Hey, I'm done with Denny. I want me some Hooters."
Yeah. So what does he do? Goes in the corner, doink, into Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
Which, okay, fine. And then again, your wife is real, Doug, because
a few laps later.
Yeah, next thing we know, there's a restart, and Chastain's about to restart, and he looks in his mirror, he's got the 9 behind him, and he's got the 11 somehow next to him. So he's boxed in, and they drop the green, and everyone hits the brake. Well, no. 35 of 36 drivers slam on their brakes going into one, and Chase decides, you know what? I'm just going to ease off the gas a little. I'm not going to hit the brakes. Yeah. And he just shoved. Now, granted, Ross, I think he had a full lock because he somehow managed to dive to the bottom of the track and damn near hold on to it.
Yeah.
And then he washed up, but he could have been written off. Like,
was that on the backstretch?
Coming out of 2, he ended up.
So then he went up and he hit he hit that wall after Chase got him, right? And he hits the wall, he comes back, and all of a sudden, there's Denny, gives him one as well. Yeah. Like, and Herman in the booth was like just loving it.
Yep. And then the 47 takes out the 23, and referee Hamlin's like, "Hey, that's one of my cars."
Well, and then Ricky was like, "Hey, he can't have all the credit for taking people out. That's my job," and he doesn't.
Yeah, which it's one thing when you're retaliating if someone does something to you, but you can't be like, "Oh, that's my car that I own." And I was like, "Let Bubba handle that." Ricky's only 4 feet tall. Bubba can take care of Ricky. Anybody. Ross Chastain could take care of Ricky,
Danica couldn't take care of Ricky. Well, that's another story.
No, Ricky couldn't take Danica, I think. She wore the pants in that family.
Well, he was a bull rider, so, Anyway.
Bull spewer now, but whatever.
Yeah. Ricky was not feeling so sunny with his D.
No, he was not.
No.
And so that was the, I wouldn't call it drama, but it was definitely the entertainment of the race. That whole situation. And then it was funny because Logano wins the race, and like you said, two factions that the 9 fans and the 11 fans don't like each other.
No, but they were one.
Oh.
Every time
even Chastain is so disliked at that track that even when Joey Logano won the race, he went, "I won a race." It wasn't all booze.
No,
people were like, "At least it wasn't Ross. At least it wasn't Ross." And then you swear, I don't know. I thought the president showed up because there's this media swarms going around the graduate. One was around Ross, one was around Denny. And I'd like to hear Denny's interviews prior to the TV one because he didn't know about Ross's interview till Jamie Little mentioned it to him.
Yeah.
But first, Ross, he said, "Look, I've been running over people all year. I'm an idiot. I'm going to get taken out the rest of the year. I know it. I got a target." He owned it.
Yeah.
So then they told Denny, and Denny went, "That's nice. We'll see.
Yeah.
It ain't over."
Yeah.
And Harvick almost had a competitive finish until he got taken out near the end of the race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but and like we were kind of messaging back and forth there. The callers tonight that I did hear on the Moody were like on either side of it. One guy was like so upset at Denny Hamlin because he had never seen blocking in any of the 60 years that he's been watching NASCAR, and NASCAR should do something about it. You get penalized if you block the leader. And Moody asked him, "Well, what constitutes blocking the leader?"
Yeah, because blocking is allowed in the sport.
I don't know. NASCAR can figure that out.
No.
Well, no. If you're coming up with the rule, you say it. He's like, "Well, NASCAR has too many rules anyway." Then why are you talking about putting in another rule for?
Yeah. Oh, and we should say, after one of the cautions, Chastain had been technically involved, and Denny started playing games with him. And at first, when I hear a spotter tell the driver, "Oh, take him out," I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, spotter." You trying to get on door bumper clear with actions like that? Shut up, right? Yep. But I understand Chastain's spotter at that point because they were on the clock, and if they didn't turn in a competitive lap, they were going to be hurt. Yeah. So at that point, yeah, I get it. Like, and you could tell Chastain did not want to just take out Denny because that would have just been opening up another can of worms. Like, you could tell, like, he had ample opportunity to do it.
And hearing that, I would have loved to have been able to hear any of the stuff with Larry McReynolds, because Chastain spotter, Brandon McReynolds.
Right.
Larry Mack's son. So
yeah. So I had heard, and I was like, all right, yeah. And then Denny let him go when he realized it could cost him a complete race. But
yeah.
And in fairness, Chastain ended up 8th in the race.
Yeah.
Like, he did run his ass off. Like, he may have had the car to beat in the race.
Well, he had to run his ass off because everyone was chasing him. Everyone wanted to take him out.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah. So then after that, announced this week, Chris Buescher, not James, is still... NASCAR has decided to continue his eligibility for the playoffs, even though he missed a race due to COVID. They announced that, even though I'm like, he has to win a race to make the playoffs at this point. I'm pretty sure.
Well, and I think that was just, I think they were just being nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And also announced, we got an extra guy thrown on the t-shirt this weekend for your boy. He's got an extra engineer coming in for Sonoma.
Oh, yeah.
Cole Pern.
Well, it's a short little flight.
Well, I'm just saying. That's why I said don the t-shirt, not the crew shirt.
Well, exactly.
We know he's going to be wearing just something with a 19, flat black.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, Cole Pern returning to NASCAR action, at least for a week.
Yeah. Which
and also
fun to get them reunited.
Sonoma has removed the curbing coming out of turn 4. Which you may recall, that's the long shot. You'll see them come out, and cars usually go completely wide of the curbing anyways.
And then just missed a wall coming back.
Yeah, then you play chicken with the wall. Because you're going to let me in, right, Joey Logano? Uh-oh. No, you know what? You do not want to be the driver looking over it, and that's Ross Chastain right there. Or, worse, you don't want to be Ross Chastain looking over and Denny Hamlin or Chase Elliott.
Well, you know what? I think I want... Hopefully,
Ross Chastain will not be running wide out of turn 4.
Hopefully, when I say this, there's someone that is not watching, because they would be mad at me. But you kind of felt that one time in Charlotte. I think we were on 85, and all of a sudden it was just wall, and I kind of make a quick little.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So I get it. They have Chase Elliott listed as the favorite this weekend. I'm wondering, is Allmendinger running again this weekend? Because he's got Xfinity running this for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know how Xfinity has 2 weeks off in a row, too. That's weird.
Yeah. But that's funny. That's the thing, though, is they have every road course now, because he won like 5 races the one year. Oh, Chase is the road course ringer. He's going to be.
Yeah, he's the man. No, not as long as like Truex,
no,
Kurt Busch.
You got Briscoe to run a.
Yeah, I don't know how that translates. How your dirt track that all of a sudden runs road.
Well, they say that about Kyle Larson. He's a dirt tracker. He can run anywhere. Well.
Yeah. Then why weren't we hiring dirt trackers for 50 years to run in NASCAR? Right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's an open wheel invasion. Yeah, because they all went to IndyCar. Because then IndyCar stopped going. That used to be. You ran from sprints because it's an open wheel all the way up to Indy. And then Indy went, you know what? Those don't translate to what we're doing anymore. We're now rear engine. We turn left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Clausen would have been the last dirt racer to run an IndyCar.
And even he came over to NASCAR as well.
Yep. Yeah, and then went back to IndyCar before he passed away.
Yep.
That's true. Who do you like at Sonoma? Your boy?
It's a broken record, yeah. Because of Cole Pern coming back, I think I have to go with him.
Yeah.
Even though I am wearing the Cole Custer Dixie bucket hat, you can even see right there. He signed
Cole Custer did not have a good weekend.
He signed it after he kicked my ass in Dizzy Bet.
Well, yeah, that happens. I don't know who I'm going to pick. Like I say, if Allmendinger's in the race, I'm picking him. If he's not in the race, you know what? Elliott is due for... Well, no, he did win a few weeks ago. He went Dover, didn't he? That's what it was.
He won... No, he won...
Where the hell did he win?
The Texas
He did
race.
win one. Right.
He backed in a Texas one.
I don't know. It might be Chase Elliott, though.
I don't think so.
Mark always likes seeing Borised running races. Yeah, he was. He was
Mark
at Coda.
Mark just likes seeing him take the helmet off and then just boing.
Well, there's that.
Out comes the big sponge.
The tone, the tone throw.
Yeah.
Speed throw. Not aerodynamic.
Not at all.
There wasn't really any other news. Some guys, I'm running 3 more truck races this year. Yeah.
There's no penalties coming out of this weekend.
Carson Ware reinstated by NASCAR today.
Okay.
He's now approved to run NASCAR competition. I'm like, when has he run NASCAR competition? He was more on the open wheel side, I thought. Maybe some trucks. I don't know. Rick Ware Racing runs and everything. So.
Yeah.
Who knows? Michael Waltrip was championing a thing. Are we going to see 17 winners by the end of the regular season?
I think we're going to be close. I think it's going to be close.
Yep.
Which I want it to be close because then that last race, it's a battle for those guys who are on that bubble.
Well, especially if it's 17. If we already have 17 winners or 16 winners going into it, then it's like, hey, I've won a race, but I still need to win another race.
Well, yeah, because then it becomes the top finisher.
Yeah, because you have whoever wins the regular season is in.
Yep.
But if he's already got a win,
it goes to the next person. The next person.
Does it?
I think so.
I don't think so. I think if you win the regular season, you've already won. That's just the top 16 in points, anyways.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But
so it's interesting. It's interesting. Yep. I don't know. Do we have anything else?
Nope. I think it's another weekend of listening to the races on the radio for me. I will be in your neck of the woods this weekend.
Oh, are you?
Yes, I will be. And if you want, I'll let you know by tomorrow. I may be at the Victoria Park Campgrounds in Coburg, Ontario.
Oh, right. Right. You got the tournament this weekend.
Yes, I do.
Right. I totally forgot about that.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So I'll be in the beautiful downtown Coburg.
I will be playing cornhole tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Mark's coming over. I still have yet to beat him. There was that one game. It was 21-20. There was that. That's only because I scored a 7 on one end to look competitive.
But no, so I'll be down there.
Cool.
With the camper and all of the, maybe I'll put all the flags out this time.
Why not?
Didn't on the weekend.
Go full redneck.
I will, yes.
Why not? All right. Well, on that note, that's been Doug. I've been me. You folks have been you.
Yep.
That's how that works. As I scroll over, take care, everybody. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're returning, thanks for returning. And leave a thumbs up if you haven't already.
And I just got to say, sorry to Jonathan Warrington. We shit on your driver. And see you, Marcus.
Take off! It's time for Doug and Ben's Great NASCAR Adventure!